Hello and welcome to Caucasian Journal video interviews. Our guest today is Siim SIKKUT, co-founder of the famous Estonian e-residency program and the former Chief Information Officer of Estonian government. He is considered one of the pioneers of e-Estonia, one of the most advanced digital nations.
Hi, my name is Siim SIKKUT from Estonia. I'm happy to do this interview for Caucasian Journal.
In connection to your achievements in digital government, you are often referred to as one of the pioneers of digital nations. Do you see that the world is moving in the direction which you once predicted?
Estonia has been on the journey of digital government, digital country for the last 25 years. So it's in a way very easy to say it was like that. It's been hard, long work actually. Obviously, we are very glad that more and more governments are honestly, strongly going in digital way, because in Estonia we have seen the benefits it brings for better services, less corruption or no corruption in Estonian case, really for efficiency of government and also as a growth boost for the economy and the tech industry, of course. So to reap these benefits, I think all of the governments around the world should be doing more on digital. And it's not like they don't have plans or rhetoric, but the delivery is not happening perhaps enough, and more of it hopefully is coming. So long story short, countries, especially after COVID, want to go more digital, but often they can't get their act together enough.
E-residency is a part of e-Estonia. Is that correct? Estonian citizens can pay tax electronically, vote, check health records, and the e-residents can form European Union companies and manage their business from elsewhere. Can you tell a bit more about the both concepts and how do they relate to each other?
Estonia as a country has become mockingly called e-Estonia because of the extent to which digital services and have become part of our lives as citizens, as government officials, as entrepreneurs. So e-Estonia is really like a brand and a common name for living a digital lifestyle in our country, enabled by the government and the offering of digital public services. Now, about 8 years ago, we started with e-residency on top of this all. So previously, all the services had been digitally available for people and residents in Estonia and the companies physically here. But we figured out, but hey, well, why do we keep it this way? You can actually access digitally things from abroad. So why don't we open up our service to the wide world? And that became e-residency. E-residency means that anyone in the world can apply and get our digital identity, and through that start using the Estonian digital services offered by government and our private sector partners. So this is really the next stage, or has been the next stage, of our digital government of e-Estonia. It's an extension of that to the wide world. And through the 8 years, we've been glad to get 90,000 e-residents. So every month we have been growing in a virtual space more than physically. For example, more e-residents are joining than are babies born in the country. And every third new company in our economy now is being registered by e-residents. So we've really seen again the growth benefit and dividend of that.
How can you summarize your experience working as a Chief Information Officer of Estonian government?
Well, my own term as a government Chief Information Officer in Estonia was 5 years. I left office this January this year, 2022. In my job, I'm already the fourth or fifth generation along the lines of people leading and teams leading digital government work in Estonia. So obviously, my challenge and the job for me and our team was to, first of all, make sure that what has been built lasts and becomes stronger and is updated all the time, and do the new things. So, and I think we managed to improve on both fields, even if there's always more to do, and several challenges still remain. In short, it was a humbling and experience, because a chance to serve a country has always been very thrilling for me, and that's why I joined the government in the first place. A chance to stand on the shoulders of many people before me who really have built up digital government is even more humbling, because exactly you get to build on their stuff and really preserve what they have done. And I think I left office glad to saying that, yeah, we managed to get new things going, like bringing artificial intelligence to our government, getting service redesign going to make services more invisible. We managed to make e-residency wider. So it's on the next stage, but yes, always more to do.
When you worked as the Chief Information Officer of the government, did you have a chance to cooperate with other governments, maybe in our region in particular?
Estonia has always been eager and glad to share our solutions, our lessons learned, especially because through our journey, we learned a lot from others. Like, for example, our digital entity was a concept born in Finland. We took it, made it work, made it bigger. So we've seen the benefits of such sharing and learning, and that we have always done with friends from Georgia and elsewhere as well. So this sort of like peer-to-peer networks really span globally. Estonia is a member of several, circles and networks where digital government sharing is happening. But even more importantly, based on the experience of building up Estonian government, our experts, our private industry is taking these lessons abroad, their concrete know-how, the concrete solutions, and they've been doing work in 100+ countries around the world. Advising, training, building new solutions, and so forth. So, and that includes, by the way, Caucasus.
Would you like to work as a Chief Information Officer for the government of another country?
As I said before, it's an actual honor and humbling experience to serve my country, and as such, obviously, nothing beats serving Estonian government in that sense, having been a government CIO there. At the same time, I think, personally speaking, a professional challenge of trying to take digital innovation off the ground or to a next level in some other country is fascinating as well, especially trying to take some of the lessons I learned in the CIO role in Estonia along with me, and learning the next thing. So I definitely won't say no, but obviously nothing beats serving your own fatherland.
Is it correct that you were also involved in concepts such as data embassy and country as a service? If yes, can you introduce them briefly to our readers?
Country as a service is really an idea related to e-residency. I want to start my company in Estonia, but I want to live in, for example, Georgia. Or third thing, I might want to get my healthcare from, London, or I might want to have my children go digitally to school in Singapore. So, point being that more and more as services become digital, especially the public services as well, the more we can actually choose. We are not bound by location. We can actually, put together a package of services we need for our lives from the best places in the world. Data embassy is a concept, is an initiative to make sure that whatever happens in Estonia, we always keep functioning as a government. So in Estonia, we have built up a digital government that's fully digital. There's no paper way back for us. There's no analog process to fall back to. If there's a natural disaster, if there's a big cyber attack against Estonian systems, if there's as we see in our neighborhood now, a war going on, for example, should we lose the sites in Estonia, whether we keep the data and the systems? Well, we would lose it all. We would lose our government and ability to function as a country. So we have to have backups. We have to have backups abroad that we control. We don't want to just put them into any cloud. So that led us to thinking, hey, how can we really have an ability to keep functioning digitally from abroad? And we needed to make sure that it would be our also legal and technical control. And that led us to the concept of embassy. Embassies under international law are our territory abroad. You go to Estonian embassy in Tbilisi or elsewhere, that's our territory there. So we just brought the same thing to data center and cloud space, and together with our partners in Luxembourg. So we have part of their national data center as Estonian data center, an extension of our government cloud. So that's the data embassy. It's our data corner there where we just keep all the sort of most critical things backed up for ultimate contingency.
Estonia started about a decade ago, so you can clearly see the results. Is there anything you wish was done differently?
I think there are two main things we think we have learned along the way. First, keep things simple. If we make systems and projects and reforms too big, they are prone to fail because it's like so much complexity and change involved. Start small, build it out, scale if it works. I mean, iterate on along the way. I think that's really just like how all the startups are built, how e-residency was built. And I think that's really what we have learned works the best in many ways, not like a big bang approach necessarily. And the second thing we have learned is that so you really have to keep the things you build in a good condition. That's like in your house, you have to keep it constantly, like tinker on it, then it preserves its value. It's the same thing with information systems and digital solutions. If you don't constantly work on them, bugs will come out, security holes might pop out. So you have to maintain what you build and constantly iterate. Otherwise, you also will fall technologically behind. If you build something 5 years ago and it's not cloud compatible, you're losing out.
Other countries try to follow the Estonian example. In particular, in our region, both Georgia and Azerbaijan have launched e-residency programs in 2018. But obviously, it is not as easy as it seems. What are the hidden obstacles?
The fundamental difference between countries that I see is that whether they deliver or not. Are they bold enough and sort of willing enough to make decisions? Not just talk about sort of, and constantly ponder pros and cons, but make decisions and try stuff out, experiment as well. And the second differentiator is that so how complicated it is to get stuff done once decisions are made. So what's the governance structure? Like, are they building out enough capability? Are they sort of, let's say, also putting money where the mouth is and sort of, let's say, investing into these things? So this is where the difference comes in terms of why some countries go deeper in the digital direction and some countries less. At the same time, these are all the factors that are in every country's control. If whether you keep talking or you decide to also really act upon and deliver on your decisions, these are things that are in our hands as people in our daily lives, as governments in our work. So really the decisiveness and really the ability to manage for delivery is what makes a difference. And that's the fundamental determinant of who achieves more on a digital front and who does less.
On the other hand, despite the huge success of your program, you have already almost 100,000 e-residents. Your goal of reaching 10 million e-residents by 2025 seems to be a bit ambitious. What is restricting the project growth?
Well, first of all, I have to say that it was never our governmental state objective or like an official goal to have 10 million e-residents by 2025. This was more of us saying back in the day that, hey, what can we do to perhaps have millions of e-residents come as opposed to thousands? What should we do differently to grow exponentially? And why we perhaps have been growing slower than that for a few things. Also in Estonian case, well, governance takes its time. Also minded that a few years have been prone to, we've been dealing with COVID crisis, now the war stuff. I mean, focus has been elsewhere for the government at large. But even more importantly, we haven't been able to perhaps get rid of a few barriers yet that exist. For example, to become an Estonian resident, you still have to physically see your embassy. The technology for that, these sort of safe options to do it differently, for example, fully digital, have not evolved in the world fast enough as we thought they would.
What makes Estonia so special and e-friendly? Is it because of high digital literacy of the population or people's trust in the government, or just a lucky combination of competent leaders?
Estonia has been strongly going digital for a combination of several things at once. There's clearly been the fact that we had competence base in digital, computer science and that sort of base that, where the specialists came from early and the visionaries who built the beginnings of digital government. There's been overall trust in government period, but that's been fundamentally because Estonia went strongly to instill rule of law and fairness, and so you can trust government decisions and government acts essentially, and that's been a cornerstone for it. Third, we've really pushed things through also like carefully managing for change and bigger reform. So putting, moving payment of taxes online is not just a technology project, it's basically a change project involving law and everything. So we really managed to care for that. We've managed to have leaders, or we've been lucky to have leaders who've been willing to take risks and try new things out and just take initiative like that. It's a combination of these several things. But fundamentally, I still come back to what I was saying to another question before. The difference between countries is that whether you choose to act, you make decisions, and whether you actually act on them. And I think this is where we are not perfect in Estonia, but we've been at least sort of able to do a bit more than perhaps several other countries.
Digital instruments make our lives easier, but what about safety and security? If we put all the eggs in one digital basket?
Estonian digital government and country story should hopefully assure you that the risks you can manage for. We can manage them by building the proper legal frameworks, for example, for protection of privacy and data, putting in place proper processing and safeguards. For example, what happens if somebody looks into stuff they didn't, and they can get the fine, and there's like deterrence like that. Or for cybersecurity, I mean, putting in place the processes that nobody has access to everything. There's technology you can employ. For example, we use very advanced cryptography for security reasons to protect our identity and databases. Or secondly, to protect privacy, we have built a feature into our systems whereby you see what happens with the data. So there's many things we can do, from design of systems and processes and legal frameworks to data defense to being, able to act quickly if bad things happen. So and that's the necessary investment of being digital.
I can't help asking you to share your vision of the future.
Well, first of all, technological progress will only continue and speed up, right? So which means that there's constantly more and more opportunities to grasp in governments. For example, that is why Estonia is going strongly with artificial intelligence now. We see that even with simple artificial intelligence applications, we can make the government more and more effective again. So technology will open opportunities. At the same time, of course, it brings new risks, so we have to manage for them as well. So that is why, part of the Estonian digital strategy is obviously to build up next level of cybersecurity capability, especially also capability to understand where technology is going and how to preemptively get ready for and manage those risks that might come as new. But most fundamentally, Estonian and my own vision for the digital future is that, government and public services, so-called bureaucracy, will have to become invisible. That's not, even if it is online to get taxes done or submit an application for some benefit, that doesn't mean it's convenient. Digitally, we could actually make it go away. We can get stuff done more and more automatically, invisibly. So if my child is born, I don't need to then anymore go apply to name the baby and get some benefits and stuff like that. If I start a company, again, all happens in one interaction only. So redesigning services to work in bundles around things happening in our life is a big part of it, making stuff happen proactively. So not on, I don't have to approach my government, but actually I get offered the service. Making stuff happen more and more automatically. So for example, why do I have to submit annual reports as a company? Basically, if government, just would have access to my data, then automatically reporting would be done. That is why we made Estonian digital strategy objective, or the aim, best experience, and everything should go into making digital public services the best experience for people as they exactly need. In the future, not the very long future, we won't be anymore using the services and getting government information through websites or apps and stuff. It will be through our voice, basically saying to Siri or Google Assistant or something in your fridge or a governmental bot, hey, yeah, what's happening today? Or if I get a new passport and Siri asks me, hey, so Siim, do you want to get a new passport? Your current one is expiring. So the virtual assistants like that will unlock the whole, again, better experience of digital government, making things more proactive and easier for me to use, easier for everyone to use, by the way. So invisible services that happen proactively around life events, more and more automatically, and through virtual assistants helping us. That's really the future that Estonia is building, and Estonia will really believe the future is what you make it to be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, and good luck with your digital initiatives. And Estonia is always happy to share our lessons learned. Thank you.
We cover what matters. Caucasian Journal.